In a nutshell, it's a service quality program that's aimed at delivering individuals to become ambassadors for the region and for the city they come from. It's interesting because that region was a difficult region. It had many problems, unemployment, long-term industrial decline. There was not much self-belief, self-confidence. So this program was as much about training people in customer care as getting them to recognize a degree of self-worth and civic pride. What's interesting with the program, I suppose, is that we combine theatre, theatricality, with film, with more traditional training approaches. So it's written by a playwright, John Godber, famous playwright in the UK, and myself, and it's performed by 3 actors in a Brechtian style, with a video insert, supposedly produced by a child, which you can view. And we can train people in high volumes because we tend to use theatres and large areas that aren't being used during the day, village halls, golf courses, etc. The logic here is to train a lot of people simultaneously. Rather than training 10 or 15, we can train 150 or 250. And that way we feel we can have a real impact, whether it's on a shopping centre or whether it's on a large theme park or visitor attraction. Quality service is critical, but if you combine quality service with building self-belief, civic pride, and making people understand their local area and be positive ambassadors for it, I think that's the way forward. My experiences of delivering it is overwhelmingly positive. We're taking people who would never normally go to a theatre to look at plays. We're making them look again and think again about the kind of service encounters they have, whether it's talking to a stranger in the street or it's talking to somebody who's asking for directions to a museum or a gallery. It's about making people recognise that actually in the immediate region around them there's an awful lot to offer. And Britain is very good in that, and so I'm sure is Denmark, that within a very short area there's lots to see and do, whether it's natural heritage or it's built stuff that people have created. I believe absolutely. I think we've tried and tested it now. We have a model there which would easily apply. You have plenty of tradition of theatre and plenty of creative people in this area. I think combining creative talents with training talents is the way to add more value to a training experience. It makes the trainees, the subjects, talk, enjoy, respond and interact positively about it. So I think, yeah, it's a blueprint. You'd have to do some work on developing product knowledge, i.e. what's the knowledge of this area, how could we push beach, coast, rural areas, small towns, historic towns, activities, attractions, and you have to find a format to convey product knowledge that's fun and that's upbeat. I suppose that's it, rather than becoming a list or a lecture. I think that's the important thing. It's understanding learning theory and how people learn. So changing the medium of how you deliver it rather than just a talking head like you're listening to now. Changing it from film to theatre to back to talking head and flipping it, involving the trainees and then giving them stuff to take away and then keeping the connection going with them, whether it's an e-newsletter or it's a certificate or it's an offer to come to an opening of something. That way you retain their interest and it's not just train and then they forget about something. About 5,000 to date, but it's not stopped. It's now growing across the region. We find the retention is about 60% in total. You will lose 40% along the way. But to have 60% a year, 2 years later is quite an achievement. 60% to 5,000 people is a lot of ambassadors for your region. Particularly good with young people, but we train at all levels. We've had people in their 60s who are volunteering, working in museums. We've had kids in the school system at 14 to 16. We've done golf courses, we've done retail malls, shopping centres, museums and galleries, council employees. Anyone who has contact with a visitor is delivering a service. So it's not only about commercial operations, it's about turning everybody on to service quality and being a local ambassador. Yeah, the same way as if we take that play from Yorkshire to London for the Olympics, we have to build the theme of the play around medals. We have to make London much more multicultural than Yorkshire. You have a lot more different races. It's very mixed ethnically, so you must use different kinds of actors and different kind of stories. Absolutely right. You must have something Danish for Denmark. To get Danish pride and South Danish pride and passion to build, it must be rooted in your language, your culture, your history. That's not to say you couldn't borrow the model and take it. But I think a lot of it works because of the quality of the writing. That's quite important. Getting an actual playwright is an immediate difference from a trainer trying to train actors. Because if somebody produces and directs and writes material like that, the quality of what's delivered is at a different level. You can see it. It's like looking at amateur theatre and professional drama. You would see the difference. And it makes for a better result. Positive word-of-mouth recommendation is incredibly powerful. So it's making people recognise that when they see a family around here with 2 kids and it's a rainy day, you walk up to them and you say, I see you've got young kids. There's 3 great things you can do when it's raining around here. I've got young kids myself. Last Sunday I went to this place, the Fun Factory. We had a great time. You should go there. It's that kind of positive recommendation. Instead, we've descended to producing loads and loads of brochures and exhausting websites, which nobody actually wants to go through when they're on holiday. A positive recommendation from somebody that says, I see you're interested in architecture. You really should go and look at this church. That's what people will do. I'm on my holidays, I just want a recommendation, I'm going to go. So I think the ambassador is the personal proponent of the place, of the region. And it's that strength of personal opinion. We listen to it all the time when we're in a shoe shop or in a clothes shop when an assistant talks to us. That's training for them. But we think it's them saying, that suits you really well, sir. This is a very fashionable shoe, sir. It's all about sales. In the same way, this is all about sales. But it's understanding how sales work.